Hey everyone, welcome back to my homestead kitchen. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make tomato paste out of your leftover tomato skins from your other tomato canning projects. So what I did was, as I peeled my tomatoes, I just stuck them in Ziploc bags and tossed them in the fridge. Although if it's going to take you a while to get to your skins, go ahead and put them in a freezer Ziploc bag and toss them in the freezer until you have enough to do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Because I put a couple of my Ziploc bags of skins in the refrigerator and I did not get to them in time and they ended up fermenting, so they ended up going to the chickens. So now I have about half as much as I wanted for this video and for making tomato paste in the first place, but oh well, you live and you learn, right? So today I'm going to kind of walk you through the process of making tomato paste using your leftover tomato skins. And all you really need is a pot and a strainer. So let's get to it. So I'm just going to dump my skins in my pot here. And then I'm gonna add, I don't know, a cup or two of water. And put it in the pot, and this is just going to keep the skins from sticking to the bottom of the pot. We definitely don't want that. And then I'm just going to turn it on like medium low and let it cook down. So this process is very similar to how you would make spaghetti sauce, where you cook the tomatoes down and draw out all of the water and moisture that's in the tomatoes until it's a thicker sauce. We're gonna basically do the same thing with the skins. We are cooking them down to release any juice, any water, and collecting any of that leftover like meat of the tomato, because when you skin it there's still a little bit of like tomato content on the skin, so that's what we're looking to get off of this. And then once we get it all strained down and cooked down, we're going to cook it down even more until we get that really thick tomato paste. So this is going to take several hours, so I definitely recommend starting it earlier in the day. And on a day you don't have anything else planned, so because you're going to be watching this pot. Or what I might do is move it to my roaster like I did for my spaghetti sauce, and let it cook down in the roaster, and that way I don't have to watch the stove all day. But I also don't have nearly as many tomatoes, so it seems really silly to pull out the big roaster, which is why I have it on a pot on the stove. You can do it either way, but this is how I'm doing it today. So I will come back to you guys after this is cooked down for a little bit and show you kind of what's going on with the pot. So it's been about 3 to 4 hours and my tomato skins have cooked down, I don't know, probably a quarter. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then we're going to start straining off the juices and the sauce, and kind of continue that process until we get it to the consistency that we want. So here is what it looks like after it's been cooking down for a couple hours. You can see the skins have all kind of rolled up and become stringy, and the liquid in there has thickened up quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take my pot over to the stove where I have a pot or a bowl and a strainer set up. And I'm going to start working this through a strainer. And just push this through the strainer. And as you push it through, the strainer, you're gonna get like all of this thicker, saucier liquid that comes out of it. Now, I bet you're wondering why I'm not using my food mill, and that's because it broke. And so we're just gonna do this the old-fashioned way with a spoon and a strainer and get all of that good stuff out of these skins. Now, as I do this, I'm going to set the skins aside that I've already kind of pushed through the strainer here, and when I get through the whole pot, I'm going to add the skins back to the pot with a little bit of water and continue to cook them down until I get as much out of these skins as I possibly can. Alright, so I finished doing our first strain through, and we've got a really good consistency here. It's still a little runny though, so we're going to cook it down a little bit more. But before we do that, we're going to cook down our tomato skins one more time. There's still a lot of really great tomato content on those. So I'm going to add about a cup of water to this and let it simmer for another couple hours. And then strain it through my mesh strainer one more time. All right, so I've let the skins cook down a second time for about an hour now. So I'm gonna go ahead and strain it off like I did the first batch. And then we will go ahead and continue to cook down the paste so it's a little bit thicker. So I finished straining everything off and I rinsed my pot out. And I'm just adding everything back to my cooking pot. All right, all that's added back to my pot. And I'm going to turn it on, again, medium low. It's about a 2 or a 3. And we just want to thicken this up. So we're not going to cook it for too much longer, but I do want the consistency of this to be more paste-like versus sauce-like. So I am going to just simmer it for a little bit longer until it gets to the consistency that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna watch this and I will bring you back when it's the right consistency. All right, so I've been cooking this down for a while now, and I think it's as thick as it's gonna get. So we're gonna go ahead and can it now. This is just going to use a water bath canner. So I've got my water heating up over here, and I've got my 1/2 pint jars set up over here. We're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice to each jar. I'm going to start off with 6 and see how far this goes. And then we're going to put the lids and rings on and get them in the canner. just going to put our jars in the canner. And drop them down in there. Nice and easy. All right, I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water because we want our jars completely covered. We're all set. I'm gonna put the lid on and we're gonna wait for it to boil. So once that pot comes up to a rolling boil, we're going to set the timer for 45 minutes. Once that 45 minutes is up, we're going to turn the stove off, set the timer for another 5 minutes. And once that 5 minutes is up, we're gonna take the lid off and then we can remove our jars. My 45-minute timer is up. I already did 5 minutes with the burner off. I'm doing 5 minutes with the lid cracked. And once that 5 minutes is up, we're going to go ahead and take them out and set them on a towel over on the counter to cool down. And our tomato paste is done. So I'm going to leave these on the counter overnight to cool. Once they are cool in the morning, I will take all of the rings off and check the lids, make sure everything is sealed properly. Give the jars a good wash, label them, and put them away for later use. So this was just a really great way to use up a waste or a byproduct of my other canning projects. I've really been enjoying learning how to use up everything from my produce and from my animals, and that way I'm not really wasting anything. So yeah, this was a fun thing to learn how to do. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and remember to grow where you're planted.